Hello, and welcome to another Cygwin tutorial. It's been more than a year since my last one. I've been busy with other things, but here I am with some new content. Today we're going to be talking about color. So color your Cygwin. What can we do? There's only so much that I can actually show you. And I figured I'd just start off with the basics, just talking about using color in some of the standard tools that we have, starting with ls. So here in my terminal, actually let me start by going to the temp folder. When I type ls like so, I get a very plain gray output, right? I'm going to assume everyone knows this already, but I thought I would just start at the very basics as I see it. So there's a very simple option that you add, which is -- color, and that will let you display things color coded. So as you can see, so I have here, this for example is a folder, so it's colored in blue. This is, while it's a video file, it's actually, because of the permissions set, it's considered executable, so it is in green, and I can show you that by using lf-color, that's capital F. So there you can see I've got the execute permission set, and then just normal stuff is still gray, and that's pretty much all there is to it to show you for ls. Although I guess at this point it might be good to mention about setting aliases. So if you haven't done it before, having to type that all the time is very cumbersome. So you can do something like this, alias, and then some letter or something like ll. I think I've seen many people do. That's not actually what I do, but ls-lf-color. And then from now on, you can just type ll, and you get the same command executed. For myself, I actually use just a single L. I'm a little bit lazier than most people, maybe. And actually, another thing I can tell you about right now is that the type command can tell you what something is. So, for example, if I say type ls, it says, okay, honestly, I'm not sure what that says, but to contrast that with type L, or type ll, which we just assigned, and you can see right there, it tells you that ll is actually an alias, and then it tells you what it actually would call once you execute that. Okay, so that's it for ls. Let's move on to grep. So grep, a fantastic tool for searching for patterns inside of text files, but the standard output is quite boring, at least with Cygwin. I found out during my my experimentation with the Windows 10 Linux subsystem that it actually, the grep there, which is, I guess you want to already had color enabled. But if I were to, for example, actually let me start by, I have an example here of a command to run. I have a few text files in this folder. No, sorry, 2 text files. And if I were to list them out, you'll see that they're quite small. So let's run grep now, looking for the word or name penny, and I'll use -i to make it case insensitive, and targeting those files. And you see it comes up with 2 matches, which is penny, capital penny from the first file, and then the third line from the second file. Now, to colorize it, just add the option -- color. And again, penny, and then sample files, star. There you go. Now it looks a lot nicer. So not only does it color what it found in red, but then the file names, if there's more than one file, will show up in purple. And if you had chosen to add line numbers, I think they show up in green, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there we go. So there, line 2, line 3, showing up in green color. And that's pretty much all I have to say about grep. So moving on, is less. So as you know, less is more. It's a pager. It lets you you feed it some input and it'll display it on the screen page by page. Now, what happens, and I purposely chose to do less after grep because I don't have a good example here because we only have 2 lines of output if I were to run this grep command. But if I were to pass it to less right now, and then less is now running, you'll see that it doesn't show any color at all. Now, there's the option for less for it to actually show color is -R, either capital or lowercase. So if we add that now, so I'll use capital, I'm used to that. Actually, so that was the it's actually 2 steps. It's 2 things going on. So now we've enabled less to display output, display the color codes and actually interpret them to show colors. However, grep is a little bit clever in that even though we told grep by using the color option to show colors when in its output, it knows that it is not printing to the terminal. It's actually passing something to less. And so it actually it basically ignores our request and prints it in plain, in no colored. So what we need to do to force it to show with colors is you say color, you can say color equals yes or color equals always, and there. Now it doesn't matter whether we are just running the grep command and looking at the output, or we're piping it to something else. It will always output in with those color code sequences, and then with less using the -R option, now it actually prints it out. Let me run this one more time without the -R, and you can see that instead of interpreting those color codes, it just shows us all this, what looks like junk, but this is actually what we're going to talk about next. So let's move on to printing in color. So it's actually quite fun, but time consuming and overall maybe not worth, well, I don't, in the end, I don't think it's worth my time. But if you get a kick out of it and you can find a great way to use it nicely and efficiently, you can add color to the output of your scripts, and it's quite simple to do. So this webpage that I just opened up lists out pretty much all the color codes that you can make use of. So this column here, FG code, the foreground code, this is the number you would pass to set the foreground color, and similarly, to set the background color would be these codes. But how do you actually do that? It does explain it on this page, but it's a little bit hard to read. So let's go and look at the examples that I have. So let's start with this one. I'm going to start by just copying this and pasting it into my terminal. And then we'll break it down. So what you can see here is it shows I like the color blue, don't you? And then blue itself is colored blue. And how that works is, how these sequences work is that everything starts off with the escape sequence, the escape character, which is we can easily represent with just /E. Follow that with a opening square bracket, and then you give it the number that represents the color that you want to set. It can actually be colors, or it could even be whether you want it bolded or underlined, things like that. But I won't talk about that here. You can check out the Wikipedia article, and it lists those things out. And then you finish off with an M. And then after that, then that's the end of the color sequence. So then everything else is just normal text, but now it's going to be blue. And then when you want to stop printing in blue, you have to start it up again. So /E, opening square bracket, and then 0M, and 0M is to set it to black. And then the rest is as normal. So for example, let me go back to this color chart. So let's say I wanted to change it to yellow. So I'll pick 3, 3. Let me go back into that. So I will edit my command, change the 34 to 33, or it might be 3, 3. I'm not sure how to say that, because I'm not sure if that's supposed to be hex or something. Anyway, there, and okay, so now instead of blue, now it is showing up in yellow. And that's pretty much it. So you can do other things too. So for example, if you wanted to do this in a script and you want to make it easier on yourself, you could assign the color bit as a variable. So let's say I want to say yellow is equal to 33M. And then, blue we already know is 34M. So now if I say, if I replace that part with, and then, so everything after that, so this bit is whatever variable. So if I want to say yellow, then run that, then, right, so then that works. I mean, just variable substitution. So we have the yellow there is our 33M. So here, sticks that in, and then you can set up your echo commands like that if you wanted to. I tried that in a couple of my scripts. It works pretty well. So I have a variable for different colors, and then I got a little crazy with variables to set bold or off, or just say, turn everything off and back to default black. But in the end, I didn't actually really make much use of that script. But it was fun to do. So, if you get a kick out of that, go for it. The final thing that I would like to talk about in this video is the prompt, this thing. So you may be wondering where all this stuff comes from and how you can change it. Well, hopefully after watching this, you'll have a better idea about how to do that. So this whole line is basically is printed out by the bash shell every time it's ready to receive new command from you, and it is contained. What is printed out is actually contained in a variable called ps1. So this variable, we can look at it by we can say export and then grep ps1, and that'll show us what it is now, which is very hard to read actually, but let me scroll down a bit here, and then I can show you an easier example to read, and then I have a reference so we can look at too. So obviously we can tell that it's got color codes, because that's why this part shows up in green and then this part shows up in yellow. But in addition to that, we can also tell that it's reactive to what's going on. So now I just went back to my home directory, and now this part is now showing the tilde to represent home. And if I were to go into this folder that I have, now it's showing that. So that part, this is all kind of variable. So in addition to the color codes that we can see, it also has special characters that you can make use of to put in different things. And now let me show you this example. So if I just copy and paste this in and run it, well, let's break it down first before we do that. So the first thing is /n for a new line, and then we have, as we saw before with the echo commands, this is /e for the escape character, and then the opening square bracket, and then we have this color, which, man, I can't remember what that is. Okay, actually that's green, I'm pretty sure. So 32M, we'll set it to green. /u is your username, and then there's a space, and then again start of a color code sequence through to 33M, which is the yellow, just like what we have up here. And that's followed by your current working directory. There's actually a few variations on that. And then we close it. We end it with changing everything back to black, and then a new line, and then the literal $sign and a space. So let's run that now, and there we go. So now instead of showing my name at and then my computer name or host name, now it just shows my name and then my location. So if I go back to my temp folder, there we have it. So that's changing it is pretty much as simple as that. If you wanted this to be a permanent thing, once you set up something you like, then just go ahead and you add that to your .bashrc or maybe bash profile. Honestly, I'm still not really sure what's best to use. I think I'm now more leaning towards the profile, but anyway, if you wanted to get a listing of all of the different special characters you can use for your setting your prompt, your PS1 variable, you could just go into the bash manual and search for the heading called prompting, but it's kind of hard to get to. I mean, it's not hard, it's just a little bit more than one click anyway. And then here it is, you can read through all these different special things. So like I said, there's the /w that I just showed, but then there's also a /W, which I haven't actually tried before. But instead of doing that, here's a fun thing that I found. If you run this command, it'll jump straight to that location. So I thought that was pretty neat. So if you wanted to, so now like if you wanted to send someone a reference to a specific section, you could do of the man pages, you could do something like that, just like I did. And that's pretty much it. That ends this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got something out of it. I know it's been a while since I've done one, and to be honest, I'm running out of ideas on what to create videos for. So this is probably going to be my last or my second last video, unless I come up with a brand new idea, which is unlikely, or someone, if you had an idea that which you'd like me to do a video on, for sure, let me know in the comments, and I'll try to get around to it eventually. So anyway, that's it. Again, that's it. That was the Color Your Cygwin tutorial, and hope you enjoyed it, and that's it for me. Okay, bye now.